Welcome to ComSpark. Today we're in Cincinnati, Ohio. My name is Eric Fox. I'm with Afidence. I'll be your moderator. And today our guest host is Ryan Collins, IT Director with Xavier High School here in Cincinnati. Ryan, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the program.
Sure, thanks for having me.
So as the Director of IT for a large Catholic high school here in Cincinnati, tell me somewhat about the challenges and some of the concerns you face on a day-to-day basis with, I believe you said over 5,000 endpoints at any given time?
So that's one of our biggest challenges is the number of wireless devices. We don't limit how many devices a kid can have, so some have 5 and 6, some have 2 and 3. It's up to the individual kid. They'll put their phone, their watch, their iPad, their laptop, their Xbox, whatever they want to bring, they can add on to our wireless network. So that can be our biggest challenge is the density and the number of devices.
Wow, and with the commoditization of internet today and every kid needing 100 megs at home, how do you guys handle everybody getting their slice of the pie, if you will?
Well, we rate limit the number, the bandwidth that each device can have when it's on our wireless. We try and give it sufficient bandwidth to, be able to stream a movie or, play their games or whatever they're going to do with it, but we don't keep them from hogging the entire amount either. So
I'm sure network segregation plays a big part into that as well for you guys.
It does. I mean, we VLAN, create separate networks across, the campus for different functions. So.
And you were saying it becomes even more interesting when alumni come back on campus for football games or basketball games, that kind of thing.
Right. I mean, we've completely covered our campus with wireless, so it's in our gyms, it's in our football stadiums, it's in our parking lots. So they all, they come to our campus, they expect to be able to get wireless wherever they are.
And so roughly 1,400 students bring in whatever device they feel comfortable with coming into school to learn on and then obviously utilize throughout the day. How do you guys look at the security aspect of just keeping everything and everyone safe and secure?
Well, between content filtering, staying up on firmwares, patches in our firewall and on our switches, content filtering, that's
probably the big one for you.
It's a struggle at times, but we do the best we can.
Very nice, and obviously being an education facility, usually government funded, those kinds of things, you guys are really sort of handcuffed to a very set budget, probably annually, I'm guessing.
Correct, we are. We usually know our budget about December the year before school starts, so we can start to plan what kind of changes or upgrades we're going to make at that point. But it's definitely based on enrollment, and state funding is also tied to the enrollment. So we don't have the ebb and flows of.
So how big of a part, I guess, would the new technology, the innovation, and sort of saying at least cutting edge, not bleeding edge with the technology? Where does that kind of fit into that sort of fixed number that you guys are given?
Well, it depends on where we think or how applicable that's going to be as to whether we want to be on the bleeding edge, right in the middle, or kind of at the end of the pack and see how it's going to play out, if it's worth investing in. There's times we've been on the bleeding edge, and there's times we've been in the middle of the pack, and then there's times we've said, hold on, let's see how this kind of plays out in other schools before we jump on the bandwagon. But we definitely try and stay at the front, whether it's VR or, take your pick from any of them out there.
Very, very cool. So obviously with a student population that size, the students and the parents, I guess, become your guys' customer. They become your endpoint to truly make sure it keeps happy there, right?
Right. They are our customer, and the students are our number one customer. They take priority over anything. So as long as, they can get on, that's our goal. And we want them to be able to get their devices on our wireless and be successful.
Gotcha. So tell me about some of, I guess, the learning initiatives maybe you guys are taking to blend, I guess, the knowledge base with the technology that you guys can provide.
Sure. Well, we do blended learning. We do flipped classrooms. We have foreign language classes that Skype with classes in other countries on a weekly basis. So we definitely, incorporate whatever we can. We have, virtual reality in our biology and anatomy classes. We have a makerspace that the physics and the engineering classes, take advantage of. So not only will they design it, they'll go build it, and then they'll test it, and they'll go back, they'll do revisions, and they'll rebuild it. So,
fantastic experiences
Right.
for the student and someone looking to continue higher education. So the high school students are really your guys' customer today.
Correct.
I'm assuming high schoolers have technology at every end of their fingertips.
They do.
Tell me a little bit about sort of the human interaction experience and the non-technical innovation you guys have been launching.
Sure. So one of the strategies we've undertaken this year is kind of to encourage the kids to put the devices down and develop those interpersonal skills that is kind of an art that's been lost. You go to restaurants today, you see 3 out of 4 people sitting there on their phones. People don't talk anymore. So we've really been striving to kind of encourage these kids, hey, put them down, go sit down at the lunch table and engage somebody in a conversation or play a game of cards or whatever, but put the device down, stop using it for a few minutes and just talk. Stop walking down the halls, looking at Facebook or seeing what somebody just put out there on Twitter or Snapchat, but look up, say hi, introduce yourself to people, and that's a big challenge these days. So.
And such an important part to IT these days. We always often forget that you have to have the human interaction, the
Right.
human relationship still counts for something there. So
It
that's
does.
fantastic.
Yes.
So Ryan, thanks for being here today on the program with us. We really appreciate it. Fantastic what you guys are doing over there at CNX.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
I'd like to thank Ryan for joining us here today on the program, and thank you listeners for joining us. If you'd like to learn more about us, please visit us at ComSpark.tech.